Where it is 19 minutes to 9 now. Most of us wouldn't fancy going for an outside dip at this time of year, but for some, the cooler, the colder, the better.
Ice swimming is becoming more and more popular, and its supporters hope it'll get Olympic recognition soon.
Following months of preparation and freezing ice baths, a group of British swimmers will travel to Russia to take part in the World Championships next week. One of them is Jonty Warneken, and before we speak to him, let's see him in action.
For generations, people have found freezing water that hides below the ice exhilarating and invigorating. And today, not that much has changed. The International Ice Swimming World Championships are held here in Murmansk in Russia. 400 swimmers from 32 different countries will be battling it out for a medal. Another of Team GB's competitors is Jonty Warneken from Harrogate in Yorkshire. He's the world's first disabled ice swimmer.
I crashed my beautiful MGB Roadster, for those out there, 1963 British Racing Green, into an oak tree when I was 22. My left leg is missing below the knee, my right ankle is pinned and it's pretty bad. In fact, the surgeon said I was lucky to keep that leg, and then I have titanium in my head and a piece of my ear in my nose.
Jonty's also recently lost 11 stone and is feeling the cold more than ever.
What I'm now trying to do is get this new body of mine to operate in those temperatures, and it's a challenge, and the body is fighting me all the way.
3, 2, 1.
It's such a nice team, and we're such a mixture of people as well. I think everyone just wants to do well for each other.
Hopefully Team GB will do well, and bring it on.
Right, let's talk to, you heard him mentioned in there, Jonty Warneken. He's here.
Why?
Yeah, that's the big question.
I think there's three reasons why a lot of us do this. There's the physical challenge of actually swimming in water that is below 5 degrees and swimming distance in that. So I think that's one reason. The second reason, we open water swim because we love being out in nature, and certainly, as the nights draw in autumn and winter, we like being out in nature, and it's just what we do. We get out there and get into the lake. And the third thing is the camaraderie amongst the swimmers. It's just fantastic. It's a great group of people to be part of and be with.
Is it dangerous?
There's danger attached with all open water swimming, and the coldness adds an extra level of danger to it. But if you stick by the standard rules of don't swim alone, don't jump into lakes, and swim with a team and with people who know what they're doing and know how to recover you, then it's utterly fine.
I mean, Jonty, I like being out in nature, but I like going for walks. How does it feel the moment you first get into that ice cold water?
To quote Game of Thrones, it's fire and ice. The ice, it sets your body on fire, basically. And it's the only sport I know, really, where the pain is intense before you've actually started the competitive side. Mm-hmm. The pain is intense getting in. But once after a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, you get inside a bubble, and that pain becomes far more manageable, and you can operate and swim in that water.
Not only you had a car accident, didn't you, and lost the bottom of your left leg, but also you've got some metal in you.
Yeah.
Is that in your forehead? Is that a titanium?
I've got metal in my
plate?
forehead and a pin holding my ankle together.
Does having the metal in your body make any difference?
Yeah, the pin in my ankle is torture. I was having an ice bath the other night, and it is the one thing that really causes me to suffer.
Right.
Yeah, everything else is manageable. That is difficult.
And tell us about your weight loss. 11 stone. That's
one thing about danger. We have medicals every 6 months to do this, and my doctors suggested because I failed my ice swimming medical that I need to lose weight. I'd always struggled with weight after I lost my leg, and so I had a gastric operation and have now lost pretty much 12 stone in 18 months.
Wow.
So my body is really fighting me in the cold water.
Yeah, that's an astonishing, it's an astonishing weight loss anyway, but then to put your body through the shock of the cold water.
Well, it's the shock I'm used to. It's getting into that happy bubble and being able to withstand the cold and then swim at pace is the issue.
Is it different having less? This is probably a really stupid question, but people would think there's the insulation. Is it different?
Yeah, fat is known as bioprene in the world of open water swimming. So having a little bit of fat on you, helps with managing the cold. And some of our sort of more elite swimmers will keep the fat on in the winter and then lose it for the summer season if they're doing open water races and distance races in the summer.
And you're going to Russia.
And we're going to Russia this week.
Have you experienced those types of temperatures before?
The coldest ice swimming is one. We're not 100% certain of how cold the lake will be, but we think it could be 0.
And mentally, how do you keep yourself going? You talked about the pain of when you first go into the water; it's agony. What's going on in your mind when you're completing that swim?
I think for everyone it's different. For me, I do a check on my body. So as long as my stomach is feeling fine and warm, I know my hands and my feet are going to go cold and my head will go numb, and then that's fine. It's all part of the swim. It's for me, it's just talking to myself, my stomach, and looking at the bigger picture, and then looking forward to getting out and into recovery.
It's amazing because it's not just a quick dip in, is it? So a whole mile is a lot.
So the mile, we race over 1 kilometre, but if you want to be a full member of the Ice Swimming Association, you've got to do a mile below 5 degrees without a wetsuit, yeah.
And how popular is this becoming as an extreme sport, I suppose, and nearly a world-class sport?
Yeah. So the popularity is growing. We've got over 420 swimmers coming. We've got 120 people attempting the 1K in Russia from 32 nations. We've got 300 people that have swum the ice mile itself. And it's probably one of the fastest growing sport. I'm pleased to say that Great Britain has the most number of ice milers.
And we like pain.
With about 120, we quite like suffering in the UK. Yeah, so it is a growing sport, and with the view of I sit on the board, and with the view that we're trying to get this into the Winter Olympics.
And just one really quick one. It just occurs to me, when you have your ice baths, presumably they're at home, do you really annoy everyone in your local supermarket because you go and buy all the bags of ice?
Well, it's not too bad at the moment. It's not really gin and tonic season yet, but I do go and fill up with the ice. Yes.
Thanks so much for coming in, and really best of luck in Russia.
I just love the idea of people watching at home, still perhaps in bed, listening to you talking about ice swimming. I mean,
and everybody's saying it's gin and tonic season all year round.
And that, although maybe too early right now.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
It's a fascinating story. You can see more on ice swimming on Inside Out South. That's on BBC One in the south of England at says 8:30 tomorrow evening, and it's normally 7:30, but it says 8:30. You'll work it out, I'm sure. After that, it's on the BBC iPlayer. Wherever you live, you'll be able to see it. So Inside Out tomorrow.
Yes. Let's find out if there's ice involved in this weekend's weather.